Hey guys, I'm gonna treat this like a lunch and learn. So if you wouldn't mind just confirming in the chat that you can hear me and I'm coming through clearly, I'd appreciate it. Great. Awesome. Thanks everybody. Again, just like a lunch and learn, let's give it 30 seconds or a minute, let these people roll in and then we'll kick it off. Thanks. All right. Yeah, I think we've got a good number. So let's start it off. This will be, I guess, the last of the official lunch and learns because we're replacing that with what we've got in the community. So that's been a good run for anybody who has been participating. I see a lot of you in here today, which is exciting because I expect you to be the top engagers in the community going forward. For those of you who have not been a part of the lunch and learn or who maybe are not so familiar with BizNexus or me, who am I? Why should you care? I start off every lunch and learn with this slide. Basically, I've been at this for a while. I've been in biz dev and M&A, and I've seen the evolution of this industry of deal origination specifically over time. We're in a really exciting spot, and that is how this community has come to pass. BizNexus, for the purpose of today, what's relevant is BizNexus Concierge in the community. So BizNexus Concierge is our agency that focuses exclusively on M&A. We work with intermediaries, buyout, family offices, individual acquirers, strategics. That's it. All we do is deal origination for M&A. And that is what we've covered week in, week out since the onset of the pandemic and the lunch and learns. The pandemic hit and we just started teaching. And we've had a really great response since day one on that. And that's how we really came to build the community. We do have a very unique position in terms of being able to see what's working and what's not working with M&A deal origination on an ongoing basis. Obviously, this is an industry where the tools and the tactics are changing daily. We're constantly shuffling through our tech stack at least once a quarter. And as all of that changes, we've come up with a process that we think can stay the same. And that's what you see here. If this is your first time on a webinar with us, basically, we just look at deal origination as a long game, right? We have set phases for deal origination. We encourage all of our intermediaries specifically to focus on thinking about deal origination as a long game, especially in this noisy environment where there are so many new buyers, there are so many new individual buyers, new buyout funds, fundless sponsors, search funders popping up. It's gotten very noisy at the top of the funnel, right? With that introductory conversation with a potential seller. And for an intermediary, especially, one of your best advantages is that you're in it for the long term, right? You're building up a reputation as a qualified authority in the area of business acquisition and sale in your particular niche or in your particular geographic area. So that's what we coach, that's what we encourage, and that's what the community is going to be all about, just like BizNexus Concierge has been and the lunch and learns have been. So today I'm just going to quickly run through really how we got here and what the solution is. We're really excited about it. Whether you're going to be a free member of the community or a paying member of the community, we think we've got a lot to offer. And I don't anticipate this taking a long time. I don't want to waste your time, and hopefully we can pop into Q&A, and that will be the most valuable part of the presentation if we actually do that. The lunch and learns, we always kind of skip that part, but let's jump in. So in the community, if you haven't been in the community, this is what we're looking at, right? Can you guys all see my screen here now? Can you see the community? Can someone just confirm that we're seeing that? Anybody? There we go. Perfect. Awesome. Thank you. All right. So if you're in the community, if you're not in the community, we've been letting in intermediaries, right? BizNexus was built around the intermediary. We're trying to accelerate transactions, accelerate deal flow. I personally am a firm believer in the value of a good intermediary in a transaction. And we're starting off the community that way. We're focusing on intermediaries, and we'll have more of the referral prospects coming in here as well. So I know we've already gotten a lot of questions about networking. Don't worry, that will be there for you. But we're really focused on quality of inventory, quality of events, quality of conversation. We don't want this thing to get watered down. So we're going to watch that closely as we shape the community. This is what it looks like. And let's just get straight to it. Some of it is free and some of it is paid. We tried to keep this as simple as possible. So the events, the polls, the networking, the chat, all of that is free. It's going to stay free. Don't worry about that. We're not going to be slipping in any paid subscriptions on that. But what we do put behind a paywall is monthly workshops, where essentially we are giving away the playbook that we use for BizNexus Concierge on an ongoing basis. And we're teaching what we do with BizNexus Concierge in the form of monthly streams, right? So each month we're going to have a specific, let's just see this. All right, can you guys see the homepage here? So we're going to have monthly themes each month, right? So starting this month, we've got building outreach campaigns. We're going to do a deep dive into cold email and LinkedIn and phone and the outreach tactics that we see working. We're actually going to go through copy. We're going to show you examples of copy, give you templates. We're going to collaborate with you so that you can build your own copy for your own practice. And we're going to show you the tools that you can use to implement. So we think that's hugely valuable. And that's just a sample of what we're doing each month. The following month will be social selling and nurturing tactics for M&A deal origination. After that, we're doing, optimizing your online brand. Basically, if you can see it, the monthly themes very much follow this process, right? So we're going in to a theme that's directly relevant to one of these stages each month. And we've decided to do this not only because of the clear, Angelo, don't worry, I'm gonna pop in and do a walkthrough of the community in a second. So we don't need videos, just hang tight. I'll get there. So what we're doing with the community, when COVID hit, there was a clear desire for education, right? Less and people really making the transition from analog to digital with just transforming their deal flow funnels over to digital, right? And that's been just this tremendous change over the past 12 to 18 months. Alongside that, we've all seen a real uptick in these agencies forming, especially in Main Street, that may not know M&A or business acquisition and sale at all, but they're coming in and presenting themselves as authorities. And we've seen a lot of problems there. We've seen people getting into trouble. BizNexus Concierge, over the past 12 to 18 months, we've really gone into middle market, and that's where we expect to stay. So if you're on this call and you haven't made the cut with BizNexus Concierge, then we've already spoken with you about this. This is the solution, really. So if you have the time to put in, you want to learn this yourself, or if you have an admin and you want to put an admin on it to help learn the processes and implement, this is the solution that we think is really unique. There's nothing like it on the market. Essentially, we think that over the course of time, it's a 12-month subscription, and ideally you stay on. But really, after just a few months, we see this as eliminating the need for the majority of Main Street business brokers to work with agencies that are doing some of these techniques and tactics, because we're teaching you what's been working really well for us in our in BizNexus Concierge with the middle market, and we have the stats to prove that. So we can go through that as well. So the paid option, there's really one paid option. That's it. If you want to hop on board, everyone gets a 3-day free trial. We're kicking off our first workshop this coming week on Wednesday. So if you really want to try it out, I'd suggest just kick off your 3-day free trial, maybe Wednesday morning, and attend, and you'll see everything that you get. But the bundle contains multiple workshops. So you can see in the workshop, you've got this coming month, building effective outreach campaigns. I'll show you exactly what that looks like. All of the archives from our lunch and learns, all of the templates from our lunch and learns, LinkedIn for deal origination, Pipedrive CRM for deal origination. These are workshops that walk you through exactly what to do for setting up your outreach campaign for LinkedIn. What should you be doing across InMail, across your connection strategy, your in-mail strategy, your follow strategy, Pipedrive CRM. How do you pull everything from the top of your funnel into a CRM and keep track? And what are the best tactics from a sales standpoint? We have so much information that's getting put into these workshops. We think that we're going to have a lot of value. We're focused on value here. And that's why this is the only paid option, right? So one-time purchase is also going to be available for anybody who wants to just dive into one topic. So just to clarify, this month, building effective outreach campaigns, this is November. This is what we're jumping into. You can buy this for $249 and have it forever, or you can just do the full year subscription for $1,000 and get access to this and every other workshop that follows, the monthly workshops and the add-ons. So let's go through the main features, and I can go through these slides or I can just dig right into the community. So let me just walk through the community. I think that's going to be better than the slides. All right. If you've been on the Lunch and Learn, I kind of go off track sometimes. I guess maybe this is that, but I think it's going to be more valuable. So let's lead with topics. What are our topics, right? We've organized the entire conversation that we're having in the community. We're breaking that down by topic. So you can post something and not associate it with the topic, but we think that's a bad idea. We really want to steer the conversation in the community. It's going to be all about deal flow, deal origination. But then if we have chats about business operation and growth, what are you doing in your brokerage process? If you have questions you want to ask, if you're talking about exiting or transaction or diligence or topics that are specifically for intermediaries, you can lump these into buckets. And what we've done on our end, every event is lumped into a bucket. So moving into events, you'll see that we've curated pretty much every industry event, right? So we're doing this promotion for free for the hosts who are providing these events. When you click on it and make and reserve your spot, really all we're doing is we're giving you the interface, a very convenient user experience to be able to keep track of these events. And if you've downloaded the app, you'll get the notification for the events that you decided to attend. But then we're giving you the link to the actual event, to the registration or the Zoom link to the actual event when that comes up. So if you're looking at upcoming events, you'll see you've got a lot today, right? So we've got Texas Association of Business Brokers, we've got BizNexus Community launch, you have all of this from the AMA, from all of the major organizations. We're really trying to ramp up the attendance across the board, whether it's us or not, we don't care. And we're also giving you the ability to add your own events for now. And why I say for now is we really do want to keep an eye on quality. So if people are adding events, people are adding recurring events and those actually aren't happening, or if they're adding events that are shamelessly salesy and it doesn't have real value for our community, we'll reach out, we'll give you a nudge, we'll have a conversation. And then if you keep doing it, I think we're probably going to pull, we'll pull the ability for you to add events. But right now, we want everyone to do it. This is a great place to network and promote yourself, promote your business, but we want to have valuable conversations. We don't want this to turn into, one of the larger cesspool social outlets that we've all seen, right? During COVID, LinkedIn became a mess. They've made some changes and it's gotten much more valuable. But for a while there, it was just, you didn't even want to go near it because it was so salesy. We're going to be very careful about that. That's why it's a closed community. We want to keep the conversation valuable and we want real growth to happen here. Roles. If you haven't associated yourself with a role, I'd say do it. You'll see here, we've only reached out to intermediaries, right? We've just done a very soft launch here, a closed launch. We haven't done any real marketing. It says 31 members. I think we've got a few hundred of you in here at this point. And that's because the large majority of people have not associated yourselves with intermediaries. That's a bad move because over time, as we grow this out, we're going to have more. If we have owners in here, there'll be real strategic acquisition owners, right? Owners 11 plus headcount who are looking for acquisitions. If we've got the referral sources, right? The lawyers, the accountants, the financial advisors, commercial insurance, niche consultants relevant to business acquisition and sale, they're all going to be identified as such through a role. And you'll want to make sure that you've labeled yourself as a business intermediary so you can get found, right? That's just best practices there. Groups, we're not doing groups now, but Q1, I think will allow some select groups to post. So if you're the head of an organization or a group and you want to have a presence in our community, just reach out to me directly, adam@biznexus.com. And we can talk about what that looks like. And, again, we're not going to be doing that this year, but early 2021 we'll be allowing select groups to pop up in our community. Workshops, now this is where the real value is, right? This is where our real effort, we have a whole dedicated team to this. We've been working hard on setting this up. Aside from the events, which we think is really special because we do feel that this is just the best one-stop shop for keeping track of all of your industry events that matter, not just with the UI and the user experience, but with the quality of the content and the team that we have on this, just to make sure that we keep these up to date, we keep them live. We're constantly screening and removing events the same way we try to do with our inventory in the BizNexus marketplace. We're doing that with events, right? We want to keep it valuable. With the workshops, we have a lot of stuff that you probably don't see today, but that you'll see on an ongoing basis. So something like the 5 stages of the deal flow funnel, that's free. And that's just a walkthrough of what you're getting into when you're in the community, what our general philosophy is at BizNexus Concierge for deal origination, for M&A deal origination, the process that we follow, the process that we've seen work. And then you have the paid bundle, right? And the majority of workshops, let's say 99% of the workshops, are going to live in this one subscription. So if you pop in here, you'll see annual subscription, right? And you'll see every workshop that you get access to, right? And so what are some of these workshops? Let's just pop in, right? When you see $9.99 on a workshop, that's not for an individual workshop. That's your bundle subscription. You get everything. And what you see here today is different than what you're going to see next week. It's different than what you're going to see next month, because we're only adding more workshops to this subscription. So it's going to get more and more valuable. So I'm biased, but I'd encourage you to hop in sooner than later, because we are going to just really bomb this thing with value. So our goal is that when you're looking at something like a BizNexus Concierge, that's $1,500 a month to get in there. And there are a lot of those agencies out there that are doing that with $1,000 a year subscription to get access to the tips and tactics, the processes, the templates that we're using for something like that. If you have time to implement $1,000 a year, hopefully will start to look like a no-brainer. If it doesn't today, in a couple months, in a few months, our goal is that it clearly should. So let's look at some of the stuff that we have in there right now. Again, if you're familiar with our process, we're big on nurturing, right? So one of the biggest problems we see in M&A is that you have a lot of intermediaries who will focus on getting in front of seller prospects, but then they have no system in place for staying in front of seller prospects. Huge problem in this industry, because 99% of the business owners out there will not talk to you at first pass. They don't know who you are. You haven't offered any social proof. You have to get in front of them. You have to stay in front of them. You have to build yourself up as a qualified authority in the area of business acquisition and sale. If you've been on the lunch and learns, you're tired of hearing me say this, but I really just need to drill that point home. That's the nurturing piece. And so we're going to have more and more education about that, but we're also going to have tools like this white label content library. So with the white label content library, if you pop in here, you'll see the description, right? And then you'll see what we have. So we actually have content that we're adding regularly throughout the month that you can take for yourself and use in your, as a LinkedIn article. If you're doing, if you don't have the time for a newsletter and you just want to do a blast and you want to tailor something to, to your business, it's very, very easy, right? So this is all content that we have put together for you to use, to take as your own. We classify that into buckets of buying a business, selling a business, business valuation as this goes on. And if we get, a healthy community here, we'll have more niche topics, right? We'll continue to ramp this up, because this is a huge weakness that we see in the industry. Business brokers, intermediaries specifically, are just too busy with transactions. They all know that they should have a newsletter, they should do nurturing, but they don't have that, they don't have the resources or their time to put it in place. So we're trying to help with that, right? So something like this, what's a business broker, how to hire the right one, maybe you're sharing that on LinkedIn as an article, and if you're focused on Ohio, for example, you're just putting in Ohio here and there for your business. And maybe if you have more time, you can really change the intro and the outro, or the conclusion, sorry. And then you put on your CTA, your contact information, obviously. Is this available to everyone who has a paid subscription? Yes, right? So is this something that you want to pawn off as absolutely unique and in your own, like, you don't want to make that claim, but if you're tailoring this, we've already seen people, even like pre-launch, we've seen people using this for their newsletters, for dumping it into monthly drips. So, if they're going after manufacturing sellers, they just grabbed three articles on selling a business and change it over to manufacturing, or have your admin change it over to manufacturing and dump that into your drip every month, right? If somebody goes and visits your sell a business page, or if they download your lead magnet and they're entered into a drip, this makes it very, very easy. So the white label content library is just one workshop that is part of your annual bundle, that annual subscription. Pipedrive for CRM. Whether you're using Pipedrive or not, we have an overview of this CRM. We love Pipedrive just because we think it's such a great sales CRM. It's only getting better with some of the M&A activity that's been going on. So in terms of emailing and nurturing, they're going to have more tools coming down the pipe. And so we've pretty much put together the roadmap for how we set up Pipedrive, what we like to do in Pipedrive, tips and tactics for actually using Pipedrive in a sales capacity, for nurturing your prospects, for identifying the prospects when they're in their moment of need, right? If someone is clicking multiple times on your sell a business page, ideally you have a task that is generated for you to at least check out that seller, that business owner, when they're doing that, right? If someone's clicking on your newsletter multiple times, ideally, that's a sales task, right? There's a lead score, or there's an automation that gives you that sales task. We're going through all of that. So social selling tips and tactics, whether you're on Pipedrive or not, this is all relevant to what you want to be doing in any CRM. And the biggest failure point that we see with the CRM is simply not using it. So we love Pipedrive, but if you're on something else, a lot of this will still be applicable. Let's pop into what we've got coming this month. So I'll show you what the real, we'll have a ton of these things popping up here and there: LinkedIn for deal origination, funnel automation, Sharp Spring. We're going to have interviews and walkthroughs. All of that is going to get lumped into the premium annual subscription. But the real, what's, in my opinion, what I'm excited to get into, and what is really, really special, is these monthly themes. So each month, this month is building effective outreach campaigns. So in the free community, we're still going to be doing polls, and we're still going to be having conversations about building effective outreach campaigns. So you'll still get value just being in the free community there, right? You don't have to pony up $1,000 for the year. I would love it if you did. I'd recommend it, but that's, I understand that's a lot of money. So if you're not going to be doing that and you're in the free community, you'll still have conversations around building an effective outreach campaign. But if you want to do the deep dive, this is what it'll look like each month, right? You'll jump in here, and we've invited nobody into this. I mean, most of this is not public, right? You're going to have your activity feed. So everybody who's a part of this, right? So for the lunch and learns, for example, everyone who's been attending week in, week out, we're all going to be in here. You're all going to have access to this workshop, this activity feed. The workshop is like a community of its own. We're all going to have access to this building effective outreach workshop, and you can chat, you can ask questions in this workshop. You'll have material, right? So next week on Wednesday, we're going to do our session, and it's going to be an hour-long session. And I'm going to go through setting up cold email outreach and setting up cold email copy. The second our session is done, we're going to drop templates in there for you. We're going to drop the challenge for what you should do to set up your cold emails. And for the next week, you can pop in, drop your copy. We'll comment on it. We'll help you with what works, what doesn't work. My team is on this, so it's not just me. My team is here to help. And we'll have the challenge. And then what we're also doing is office hours, right? So this is what the month is going to look like. We'll have the session, setting up your cold email, right? That's next week. And then on Friday, we have office hours to answer your questions. The following week is session 2, setting up your cold email campaign. So we're going to walk you through one of the tools that we love, and we're going to show you how it works and how you can implement the copy that we did in week 1 directly into that tool. And then we're going to have office hours on the Friday of next week. After that, we're going to go through LinkedIn. What's actually working now for LinkedIn for deal origination? What are the changes that have taken place over the past 6 months? We all know there have been a ton in terms of your connection strategy, your in-mail strategy, your follow strategy. What is all this? What does it mean? And what should you be doing? We're going to show you exactly what we think is working well. We're going to give you the templates, same deal, right? Then for that week, you can put your copy, put your templates into the activity. We'll comment on it. We've got office hours on Friday. We'll do that. Then the final Wednesday, we're going to go through cold calling and snail mail, right? And we're going to walk through what we think works. And then we'll all collaborate, talk about that. We can put the templates in the activity feed. Then we have office hours on Friday. So it's a deep dive into what we see working well at the top of the funnel for outreach campaigns, right? The weapons that we really like at the top of the funnel: email, LinkedIn, snail mail, phone. We're going to go through all of those this month. And then you'll have access to this. You can come back to the recordings. If you can't make it on a Wednesday for the live session, you'll miss out on some of the collaboration, but you can always come back and you can watch the video. You can have access to the templates. And then the following month, we'll jump into the next deep dive. So that's essentially what the paid option is, guys, is just the monthly workshop with a deep dive, and then everything else that gets put behind that wall. And then with the free community, again, you have access to all of these events. You have access to the chat. We're going to be doing the polls that I think you've all seen already. So if we go into some of the topics, if I look at deal origination, for example, you can see polls like this where we're asking here, what's your biggest obstacle keeping you from routinely following through on sales tasks, right? And we're just getting a feel for where everybody is. You can compare yourself to how you're doing when compared to the rest of your colleagues. What CRM are you using for your deal flow? Pipedrive, HubSpot, Salesforce, ActiveCampaign, other, right? As an M&A professional, what's your number one tried and true tactic for getting new seller prospects? Cold email, LinkedIn, good old fashioned phone calls, referrals, 65%. It's amazing, right? In this industry, you see so many people, so many of the big producers just sitting on referrals. This is great to see in the form of a poll, because we've always been talking about the value of putting a process in place for actually going after referrals. Like for people who've been in the industry for a while, they've already leveraged this. But if you're building out a new brokerage practice or a new buyout fund, you need to think about referral prospects just as much as you're thinking about your end seller prospect, because over time, referrals will count for more. They'll have more value than any proprietary deal origination strategy that you have in place, right? And this is a visual representation of that fact, in my opinion. So, and then you get the comments, which is great. Again, for a closed community, right? We've got some great engagement already, without really pushing this thing out. So we're super excited just to have the conversation about deal flow, right? Deal origination. We are taking BizNexus Concierge. We are not competing in Main Street with any of these agencies that have come into the picture. We are giving you those plays from the playbook that we feel have worked really well on an ongoing basis as we continue to work with our middle market clients and implement and manage the processes for them. We're going to chat about what's working and what's not working in the community. We're going to be totally open here. And I think this is an interesting model when it comes to, number one, not getting yourself into trouble with one of these agencies that just don't know this industry. We've seen a lot of mistakes. We've seen a lot of things come along. Obviously, I'm biased here because I run BizNexus Concierge, but we do have an exclusive focus on M&A. And I think it's an industry where you can't look at a business owner like a quote unquote lead, right? This is it's a high value ticket transaction, right? It's someone who you need to get in front of and build a relationship with over time. And we've seen so many agencies that have come into the picture, that have come into the scene since COVID started, that don't really understand this, that don't understand the vernacular, the language of the industry. And the worst thing that you can do in this industry is burn your brand before you have a shot at even auditioning for the transaction, right? So we're going to be covering that a lot. And hopefully this is something where you're getting the value. You can ping me directly in the community if you're not, because we love feedback, but we're really focused on value. And we hope that this is going to be something that provides that over the long term. So that's, I think that's really it. Let me look at the rest of my slides and see what I missed as I went off track. That's really it. So, I think if you're not in the community, we haven't gotten to you, or you're not an intermediary and we're just kind of not there yet. So apologies. You can reach out to me directly if you think you should be in and you're not in. But if you're in there, just get in there and play. Please respond to the polls, right? check out our paid deal origination bundle. Absolutely. Right. So again, I think if you're going to do this, you get a 3-day free trial. Pop in on Wednesday morning and we'll have our Wednesday workshop, and you'll have access to that and all of the other workshops. And then if you want to pull the trigger, we'd love it if you did. If not, you can just pop back in the community, engage. And then if you feel like, hey, maybe you made a mistake and a couple months down the road, you see all of these other workshops in there and you want to get access for the year, then you can do it at that time, but no pressure. And we really hope this is valuable, and we really want your feedback. So question here. Do the workshops need to be done in sequence? What happens when someone comes in mid-series? Do we just watch the recording of prior workshops, or will you go back to run those again in the future? So great question. Let me just pop back into what we're going to be looking at this week, or this month, sorry. And the monthly topic will always have this little announcement icon, just so you know, okay? So let's look at the events. Coming down the pipe this month, this is what we have planned, but we're also going to have bonus sessions and some interviews. So you will have more than this. Everything we do, this lives in the workshop forever, right? So if I'm doing a session like this one, we are going to drop the video in the session. We're going to drop the slides in the session. We're going to drop the challenge in the session, right? So what should you be doing this week? And then we can all collaborate in the activity feed, going back and forth. Office hours, those will not be recorded. Those are going to be live, because that's just where it is. If people feel like they want access to the office hours, we can, but that's typically irrelevant. And everything that we have in here will live in here forever, right? So you can go back at any time. If you attend week 1 live and you think it's really, really valuable and you want to go back and see it again, you just pop back in and you press play and you watch it and you do the work. You can go back as many times as you need. If you pop in a few months from now because you see the value and you think you made a mistake by not hopping in day 1, these workshops will still be here for you. The only caveat there is that we're doing the 5 stages of deal origination plus an additional stage on just like setting up your buyout fund, your brokerage practice. What are you all doing to implement, right? That's one that we had a lot of requests for, and so we're adding that on. So every 6 months, we're going to go back, we're going to kind of recycle, right? So if we're starting with top of the funnel, right? We're going to go back to that in 6 months, and we're going to update it, and we're going to have a new conversation about that process. That's where the deal origination process here, right? This always stays the same, but everything that happens within these different phases, that's changing constantly. The tools, the tactics, you've all seen what's changed just over the past 18 months, even just over the past 3 months, there have been changes. So this is what we're going to go through. We think we'll keep everything in there for you, but if some stuff becomes irrelevant over time, again, just in the spirit of keeping valuable inventory, so someone doesn't go into a workshop that's a year old that might not be so relevant, we might yank that stuff over time. So next question, hopefully that answers that question. Let me know if it doesn't, I can hop back in. Peggy, will the classes qualify as education hours for M&A source or for the IBBA, for CBI? That's super interesting. I'd definitely be willing to have that conversation, but this is a different thing, right? So this is deal origination. This is what we're doing with BizNexus Concierge. M&A source, IBBA, they're focused on helping you build a brokerage practice, and they do that really well. You're not going to get that kind of material in here. You're going to get a whole lot about deal origination and what we know and what we do really well. If the IBBA and M&A source want to place value on that and give you some credits, obviously I'm listening. Just have somebody connect with us, and we'll have that chat. Very, very interesting. Peggy again, asking if the community is geared towards middle market M&A. Is there more lower middle market or true middle market? So this is going to develop on an ongoing basis, Peggy, right? So we're starting with, I mean, I do see this as a great solution day one for Main Street, just because a lot of the Main Street intermediaries out there, number one, they're looking at deal origination as leads, and that's just a fundamental problem, right? In terms of getting that group to think about deal origination as a long game. That's something that I've really been trying to help with for a while now. And I think this is a great solution for anybody who might be budget conscious and has some time to implement or to work with an admin to build out processes on your own. With M&A, we're absolutely going to have, our BizNexus concierge clients are going to be in here, right? We're going to have the middle market intermediaries, we'll have buyout, we'll have family office types. We're focusing on the intermediary first, but if you're interested in deal origination, this is going to be a hub that is a good fit for you. So we'll have a mix, and I think it's going to be educational because you have so many people who are on Main Street trying to go up market, and I think mixing those communities, for me, I've never understood the difference between Main Street and middle market. And I've been in this industry for 20 years, right? I think you get a lot of Main Street business brokers who are former entrepreneurs who become a business broker. And then you get a lot of, quote unquote, middle market types who fell out of Wall Street and started their own boutique, but we're all doing the same thing. We should be having the same conversation. It doesn't make sense to have this divide, in my opinion. So that's how I see the community, and that's what we're going to be doing. Can you talk more about concierge service? What does it offer? No, I'm not going to, because that would be a pitch. It's a managed service. Just go to BizNexus and you go to our concierge page, right? It's right there on the homepage. And if you're interested, check that out. If you want to schedule a strategy session, we can chat, but I'm not gonna talk about that now because I think that would be a little salesy. You also mentioned the content is geared towards Main Street. Is it more Main Street or middle market? Great. So right now, the content is a mix. For the Main Street, keeping in mind we're just launching this thing, but we have had really great traction with the white label content library right off the bat, right? So I think we've hit something here, and we'll continue to add resources for anything that's working well. And I think this is already one. So we have a mix of content. What we've seen our middle market clients doing already is just taking it and doing, giving it a little more TLC to gear it towards their niche, right? Main Street, you can kind of just maybe change the intro and slap on your call to action, your signature, and your contact me, and boom, you've got a LinkedIn article that you can use in one of your outreach campaigns, or you've got a monthly blast because you're too busy with transactions and you can sit down and write something yourself. So that's how we see that. If we have requests, we're going to respond to requests. We're listening, right? I think anyone who's been involved with BizNexus, that's how we try to operate. So if there's feedback, we're going to try to build around your feedback. If you want something, we're going to find a way to make that happen. That's how we develop, that's how we build, and that's what we're going to continue doing. Let's see. What other videos will we have? In the free community, just so you know, we have a schedule that we're following in the free community. And I don't have that in front of me, but off the top of my head, basically what we're going to be doing every Monday, you're going to see a roundup of what was hot the prior week. So Courtney's going to be doing an article with everything that was interesting from the previous week. You're also going to get a poll from me on Monday that I think is relevant. Every Tuesday in the free community, you're going to get Tuesday's tip. So I'm just going to do a sales tactic, something that I see in BizNexus concierge working really well. I'm just going to hop in a video and talk about it. Hopefully that's valuable. Every Wednesday, that's when we're doing the workshop, right? So we're really focused on that workshop. So Wednesday, you'll get a poll in the free community, but not much else. Thursday, we are doing a featured member article, right? So we're going to be spotlighting all of you. You can see that in the community. If you haven't submitted, I'd say go for it. We're going to be promoting the hell out of intermediaries. Who are you? What do you do? And I think that really makes for, that's a win-win. So if we can help promote you in your practice and talk about what you're doing, it starts a conversation and we can all learn from each other. So every Thursday we'll be doing that. And then, Friday, we're kind of on the fly with that. We'll see how engaged people actually are on Friday. We'll do a poll every Friday in the free community, but we don't want to, we don't want to crowd your inbox. And when you pop it in the community, the first thing that we have, start here is about your notifications. Make sure you set your notifications to what you want them to be, right? We don't want people to abandon the community because they're getting notifications they don't want. We want you to stay on board. This is going to continue to get more valuable. So if the notifications are bothering you, just check them out, check out that article and adjust them. Or if you're having trouble, just ping me or anyone on my team directly, or just ping me directly and I'll help you get set up so that we're doing this the right way. Let's see. All right, looks like we've got, do we have any other questions here? How do you keep the community high quality? Any rules of engagement? Great question. We don't want to have, set policies and rules. Obviously on the homepage, we talk about no online bullying, no abuse. That goes without saying. We will yank you. If we're getting complaints, we'll give you a warning. And then if it continues to happen, we'll decide whether, what to do. If we see anything, we don't want this to become salesy, right? And it's a general, it's fine to tell people who you are and what you do. But, for example, if we see somebody direct messaging multiple people over and over and over again, and the direct message is the type of sales email that we're all getting approached with on LinkedIn, like we want this to be valuable. That's why we've got this, right? This is not just a duplicated LinkedIn. We want this to be a valuable place for you to spend your time. And I mean that, right? So that's why with the events, we're putting the resources on keeping these things as accurate and up to date as possible, because we want you to be able to come and see these events and see the value and learn about what you want to learn about, whether it's with us or not. We want the conversations to be valuable. So if you pop in and you've taken your time as a busy intermediary, anyone in M&A is busy. If you've taken your time to engage with our community, it doesn't make sense for us to bring you into to an environment that isn't providing that value, because number one, you won't come back, but number two, it's we're taking a big risk here with this, right? Where BizNexus Concierge has been a great thing for us. It's helped build the marketplace. And we're really betting on the fact the middle market clients are always going to want us to execute on that, but we're providing this community and we're opening up the playbook because we know that there's this need, especially with Main Street, to learn, right? People have that appetite. They want to spend time networking and learning. So we want to keep it valuable, and we'll keep it loose. We're not going to do anything unfair, but we'll let you know before we kick you out. But please don't take that as a green light to go and be salesy, because you'll get a warning. Tyler, who's the perfect member for the community? Who should we be directing the community to the community? Is there useful information for lenders, for buyers? So Tyler, I think it's an interesting question. A community is so much about the feel for who, like we want to promote business acquisition and sale. Like if you pop on the LinkedIn company, you'll see our mission is to democratize the process of business acquisition and sale. I think since day one, we really are trying to accelerate transactions, right? The fact that 80% of these businesses are dying on the vine out there, that doesn't make sense, right? So if we can help make the match, especially with intermediaries, whether someone is buying or selling a business, that is the core, that's the core mission of BizNexus that extends to the community. So it's a fine line between opening it up and keeping it valuable. So my personal take is that we're starting with intermediaries because that's our core audience. That's who we built the BizNexus platform around, and that's really how we're going to start with the community. From there, who do you want to network with, right? And so the ancillary players in M&A, right? So who are the financial advisors, the lawyers, the accountants, the commercial insurance representatives, right? The niche consultants who are in the space and actively working in this space. Think of it like the valuable conference that you're going to. Everyone who you have at that conference, we're looking at that audience. And then in terms of the buyout community will absolutely have buyout and family office and strategics, but we don't want this to turn into a day one learning environment. And I don't know if that's too vague, but we want people to be able to come in and contribute to the conversation right off the bat. So that's what we're looking for. We want to educate, but we're very focused on keeping it valuable. So I'm sorry if that's not a crystal clear answer, but that's the general guideline that we're trying to follow. All right. A lot of these questions are duplicates. So if we have any other questions as we move on, guys, I'd say just like don't hesitate to ping me directly. I think we're day one. We're really focused on the workshops, right? We've been focused on events. We've been focused on facilitating the conversation around deal flow in a very rapidly changing environment. I can't stress enough how much this landscape has changed over the past 12 to 18 months, right? Especially for intermediaries, because you have so many, we call them corporate run-ins, right? People who are doing well and they want to make a change, right? It's this whole great resignation theme. And now they're looking at buying a business. You have so many of those people. You have so many of the fundless sponsors, the search funds, the buyout funds that have gotten into this and are all doing outreach, right? And just making that top of the funnel so noisy. And as an intermediary, especially, you've got to recognize your competitive differentiators and being in it for the long term to be able to stay in front of these prospects as an intermediary who's in it for multiple transactions over time, where these buyers, they'll typically flame out within 6 months or 18 months. Being able to have a system in place to stay in front of your end target prospects and referral prospects and execute that on an ongoing basis, for me, it's just so clear. It's such a clear need for this particular niche, and I do feel like the industry's behind. So I hope that this community will help to solve that, and that's what we're going to be working towards. But we're open to any and all feedback, especially the negative feedback, because we want to make it a better product for you. So don't hesitate to ping me directly in the community, anyone on my team. And if we don't have any more questions here, I think we're tapped out. We'll leave it at that, and I'll close this out. And again, my last plug is to try out the 3-day free trial, whether it's now or a month from now, but going to the bundle, right, to get access to everything that we're doing. We're putting a huge amount of time here. I think there's a huge amount of value with everything that we know, that we've learned through BizNexus Concierge, through multiple failed attempts and multiple wins, right? Over time, we've been able to have a front row seat to what works. And we're really trying to help educate in this community with that. So I'd encourage you to try out this deal origination training bundle. It's a 3-day free trial. After that, we ask you to pull the trigger or not. Best time to do it would be this upcoming week before we kick it off on Wednesday. But the lunch and learn is officially dead, and we are moving forward with the monthly themes, with the monthly workshops, and we'll start off November with building effective outreach campaigns, and we really hope it's valuable. So thanks, guys. We'll hopefully see you in the community.